You have a struggling reader and you're needing some practical ideas on how to catch them up, stick around. I'm starting my series today on how to help your struggling reader at home.
You are your child's most influential teacher.
Hi, I'm Rebecca with the Parent Teacher Bridge, where you can find the ideas and resources you need to empower you to be your child's most influential teacher. Today, I'm starting a series on how you can help your struggling reader at home. And today's video is all about what you can do when your child is reading a book that is too difficult for them. Before we get started, make sure you click like and subscribe so you can be notified each time I upload a new video. And also just a reminder, if you go down to the description below, I have a free download, 5 quick tips to immediately help your struggling reader. And those are some things that you can do today to see improvement in your child's reading. So let's get started. Now, speaking of text that is a little bit too difficult or above one's reading level, we as adults sometimes experience this when we are reading official documents or complicated instructions that have jargon or vocabulary that we are not familiar with. So imagine that if you were a child and you were wanting to read a particular book and it was filled with all that, you would get a little frustrated and you wouldn't know what to do. You might not even realize, maybe I should slow down, maybe I should read this aloud, maybe I should read this again, because after all, a child's not going to think of that as easily as adults do. Now, there's something in reading called frustration level, and that is when a child is trying to read a book that is above their level. That doesn't always mean that the child is going to express frustration when they are reading something on that level. Some children have this habit of substituting words that look a lot like the correct words, and they might even sort of make sense in the sentence, so they just keep on going and they have no idea that they have gotten the word incorrect. And you won't know either if you don't sit with your child and actually look at the page also. We know that children want to read books that their friends are reading, or they may like the idea that they're carrying around a fat book. It makes them feel smart and important, but that doesn't mean that it's the best book for them to read. But one thing that happens very often when people come to me for tutoring purposes for reading, their child will bring a book from school or from their library that they are currently reading, like a chapter book, and it's really on a higher level than where they should be. And they would be doing much better if they would back up and go to an easier level for the time being. Think of it as working out at the gym. You're not going to start with the heaviest weights on your first day. You've got to kind of work up to it. But why does this happen? Well, sometimes, especially in the upper elementary, middle school grades, children will have assigned reading, and it just so happens that the child is not reading on level, so the assigned reading is a little bit too difficult for them. In that case, definitely reach out to your child's teacher and see what can be done. If it's the case where they have a reading passage sent home with them every week, your child's teacher may be able to adapt that and change your child's passage to be something more appropriate for them. Or if it's a book that the entire class is reading, you may have to step in and read that book with your child, kind of buddy read it to take a load off them so they can focus on the comprehension of that book as well. But if it's not required, it's totally possible to put the book aside for a little while, just a few weeks, maybe a month or two, until your child has gotten on a higher level of reading, which is totally possible, especially in the lower elementary school grades. Children can grow so much in their reading if we just make sure that we are giving them the right amount of practice and the right level. I have a video that I have done on finding just right books or finding good fit books. And basically what it says, and I'll leave a link in the description below, it basically says that your child should not struggle with too many words per page. If they're struggling with too many words per page, that decoding process is taking up all their brain power and they're not going to be able to focus on the comprehension and retaining what they have read. When I go to the library with my children, I flip open the book and look at the words. Since my children regularly read to me, I can have an idea just like that from looking at the words on the page on if something's going to be a little bit too difficult or too easy for my child. So make sure you check out that video. Now, I do have a free download that might interest you. It's filled with ideas that you can use today to make a difference in your child's reading. It's called 5 Quick Tips to Immediately Help Your Struggling Reader. I'll leave a link in the description below. Make sure you check out my website, The Parent Teacher Bridge, and like and subscribe to this video so that you can be notified each time I upload a new video for your child's learning. You can find the Parent Teacher Bridge on Facebook and Instagram. And remember, you are your child's most influential teacher.